What about if healing was not forgetting about the past, but actually learning how to grow from it? I am pretty sure that a lot of us have
What
gone
about
through
if
some type of
healing was not forgetting about the past, but actually learning how to grow from it?
I am pretty sure that a lot of us have gone through some type of traumatic experience. And people say, just forget about it. Just forget about it and move on. What about if it's not that easy to move on? We're going to talk about it further. We're going to dive deep. For those that don't know me, I am Dr. LaJoy. I have been an educator for over 20 years. I absolutely love what I do. I'm very passionate about being able to be solution oriented to help kids build their self esteem, which is a very personal passion of mine. Also, helping them with reading comprehension and building their writing stamina and their writing skills. I have worked with parents all over for the last 2 decades and more, being able to help them use these strategies and these tips to make sure that we partner and mirror what's in the classroom, what's at home, in order to build these things on a more effective manner. So, talking about trauma, students have a difficult time in the classroom if they're not dealing with their trauma. So I have some things that I have actually used and it has worked in the classroom. It's actually worked on me as an adult. There were some things that I was going through as a child and had some internal issues going on of how I felt about myself. And I had no one really there to really check on me or to ask if I was okay or to help me deal with it. Because, getting therapy back then was like a stigma, like something was really, really, really wrong with you. But now everybody's getting therapy, which is the first thing you should do. But if you can't afford therapy, there are other practical solutions that you can do that has worked. So, for example, a healing jar. Being able to, this is one strategy where you can actually talk about your feelings and then how do you want to feel. This is how I'm feeling now, but this is not how I want to continue to feel. I want to get to this point where I could feel like this. So like a cause and effect. This is what I'm how I'm going through these things now, but I don't want to stay there. So being able to look at your future, how you want to show up in this world, very effective. I've had kids use them in therapy sessions at school where they meet with a guidance counselor, and that has actually worked with them being able to put that into a jar before they start their sessions. And then, at the end of the week, they will pull one out and they'll be able to discuss that and dive a little deeper into okay, if you're feeling defeated and you want to be a overcomer, what strategy can we put in place to make sure that happens? Right? So very powerful. Number two, being able to write to your past, being able to where that trauma begins, being able to give advice. Um, Now you have to be very tricky with that. I don't do that as a classroom teacher. That's out of my pay grade. I listen to students, but I do say it can be very effective when it comes to parents. And I know guidance counselors have used this as well, but you don't want to rehash or reopen the wounds and the pain. So you have to really be skilled and licensed to really do that and to tap into it gently in order to get the best outcome, which would be how do we heal from this? How do we move forward? And how do we deal with it? How do we grow from it? Also, I would say another one would be reframe my thoughts. And a lot of students speak negatively about themselves. They would say, I'm so dumb, or I just don't get it, or I'll never get it. And so if you keep telling yourself that, that's what I was telling a student the other day, if you keep telling yourself that, then your mind will continue to react in what you're telling it. So I said, instead of saying, I don't get it, let's use a three-letter word at the end of the sentence. I don't get it yet. Right? So if you say Yet that means that I don't get it today, but I might get it in the next hour. I might get it tomorrow. So it leaves that hope there. The power of yet. I even bought a t-shirt that said the power of yet. So kids are now using that phrase because when you don't use the word yet, that means you gave up. And we're not about your giving up at no time. We're going to work through this together. So just changing our way of thinking has been very powerful. And I would say the last thing I want to share, they might sound very simple, but it's really hard to put into practice sometimes. And that is thinking that you are enough because you are. You are. But sometimes trauma can really make you feel like you're not worth nothing. And so it really shows up not only in school, but it shows up in relationships. So when you have a relationship and someone shows you a little bit of attention and tell you how nice you are, how good you look, whatever the case may be, you fall over heels for that particular person. I'm not just speaking in a personal relationship, but I'm saying even in a friendship where they boost your head up and say you're this and you're that. And when you already don't know that for yourself, and then they stop saying those things about you, and then you feel rejected, and then you feel like you're not enough, or you have to keep chasing after the comments because you don't really feel that way on the inside. That's deep. So when you get to the point where you can look in the mirror and you can say, I am enough because, and be able to fill in those blanks for yourself, it will really make a world of a difference how you show up in the world. I have told students this, and they start saying it in the mirror every day before I come to school. Like this one particular boy and girl really said that, I look in the mirror and I say, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough because, whatever that is for them. And they say it a couple of times before they even get ready to go to school. And they said that it really helps them reset their day because the previous day might have been really rough, but they want to move forward a better day. And those positive words to themselves really make a difference. I mean, even with me, I do it as an adult, and it really does make a difference. And you're not telling yourself anything that you're not already. You're just trying to bridge that gap of how you really feel and how you want to show up. So very powerful. I would say also self-care. Um, makes a difference. Being able to have that moment of things that really make you happy and finding that balance so you can have some self care. There are some adults. Now, we're not just talking about the kids, we're talking about the adults and the parents too, where you work all the time and you don't even take time out to do anything for yourself. When you do that, that means that, you're running away from that personal time that makes you happy, those things that makes you feel really good about yourself. It's all about feeling good and being able to learn from your past in order for you not to make the same mistakes, right? Or to not revisit those experiences. So that's really important. So those are my three ways of how you can heal from trauma. And of course, it's not the end all be all, but it's definitely a start. And kids have used this, parents have used this even more, and it has really been effective. And I have used it, and I'll just be parent. I've used it and it works. So I wanted to make this video to just to share some strategies of how you can use these things today, and maybe it will help you along your journey. I hope that you found this video very valuable. It's all about solutions. It's all about sharing and being able to build that community so we can help each other. We need each other. Okay, so until the next video, I'll see you then. Take care.